Friday's selling had everyone running for the hills, and if you were on the wrong side of things, you may have felt the market was crashing. Both the S&P and the NASDAQ printed bearish engulfing candles. So where can we look for the market to head this week? Where are the most significant support and resistance levels? I'll be going over both the bullish and bearish scenarios in today's video. If you're new here, welcome. My name's James, and you're watching High Quality Trades. So let's start this video off here on the SPY's 4-hour time frame. So today is February 23rd, and the most recent close of the SPY was $599.94. On Friday, it reached a high of $610.30 and a low of $599.47. It was negative 1.71% on the day. So what is the SPY currently doing? Well, on Friday, looks like we literally fell off a cliff. We opened up around the 610 resistance level and immediately sold off. The market broke through the 609 support level and headed down towards 602, breaking this level as well. We ended up finding support at the 200 period moving average here on the 4-hour time frame. So come Monday, if the market continues to move lower, I believe it'll head down towards this 598 support level and then possibly find support, then we can head back up towards 602. But if we break through this 598 level, it may mean that we'll head down towards 590. I'm leaning more bullish that we're going to get a bounce coming soon based on the RSI and extreme oversold levels. Then also if we go into the 15-minute time frame, we are really far away from our 200 period moving average here, and price can never get very far from this moving average before headed back to close the gap a little. So I believe what's most likely to happen on Monday is we push further back up towards the 602 support level and then push up towards this ascending trend line here. So currently we are below this moving average, which does mean that the bears are in control. So as price moves forward, moves up to close the gap, unless we break above this moving average, the bears will have control to push price lower. So a possible scenario would be we come up here towards the 200 period moving average, find resistance at this level, and then we head back down towards the 598 level. Then if that level breaks, it may mean that we fall all the way down towards 590. I don't want to sound overly bearish. So if the SPY is able to get above 602 and then breaks above the resistance of this trend line and also gets above the 200 period moving average, the SPY could head up towards the 609 resistance level. Then if it breaks above that, it is possible that we could head on to new all-time highs towards the end of this week. We will just have to wait and see. Alrighty, that's it for the SPY. Let's now head on to the triple Qs. So the triple Qs on Friday opened up around resistance at 539. Quickly, the bears stepped in and pushed price lower. We broke through 533 as support and headed down towards our next support level of 528. We ended up breaking this level as well. And now it looks like we're headed down towards this ascending trend line. Looks like we see it better here on the daily time frame. But if the triple Qs is able to find support at this level, maybe somewhere around the 521 level, it can head back up towards the 528 level. It's in this area here that I'm looking for the triple Qs to find support, and then we get a bounce. If we go down into the 15-minute time frame, we'll notice that price is extended really far from its 200 period moving average. So it may mean that come Monday morning, we open up above this 528 support level, If the bulls are able to push price above this, we can head up towards the 533 resistance level. Looks like in this area, we also have a ascending trend line back from, you can see it better on the 4-hour time frame. But that may be a quite significant area for resistance. And then if the triple Qs cannot get above this level, it's possible that we'll head back down towards 528. And if the bears step in and push price below this ascending trend line out on the daily time frame, it may mean that we continue on lower. I'm not overly bearish, and so I am looking for a bounce here on the triple Qs. So look for the triple Qs to get back above the 528 support level, then head up towards the 200 period moving average. So if the bulls are able to get back above this 200 period moving average and we get above the 533 support level, we could head back up towards 539 towards the end of this week. Alrighty, that's going to be it for the triple Qs. Let's now head on to Apple. Then we'll remain on the 4-hour time frames for the remainder of the video. So Apple has broken above this descending trend line here, which is a bullish signal for price to head up towards the 248 level. We will notice here that on Friday we did hit this support resistance level. I would say currently we are dealing with a little bit of bullish divergence. The RSI has made a lower low here from these lows as price was making higher lows. So we are looking for a bounce maybe off this 243 level at the beginning of next week. If Apple finds support at this 243 level, may mean we head back up towards 248. And then if we get above that level, we can head up towards the next resistance level of 254. But if for some reason Apple falls below the 243 support level, it'll head back down towards 240. If it breaks that level, it may fall all the way down towards 237. Well, let's move on to Facebook. Facebook had an extremely bearish week. Looks like we ended up finding support by the end of the week here at 683. And now it looks like Meta is headed down towards this ascending trend line here, somewhere in the 677 level is where I think it could head down towards. But being that we're so oversold on the RSI and we are diverging, a bounce should be coming soon. So look for this 683 level to possibly hold as support, or even this ascending trend line. Then if Meta can push up towards the next resistance level of 705, that would be the bullish scenario. Being that Meta is so oversold and divergent, I would be looking for a bounce coming next week. Alright, that's it for Meta. Let's head on to Amazon. So Amazon had an extremely bearish week as well. Looks like on Friday, we tried to bounce off the 221 support level, but the bears stepped in and pushed price below that level, and then we ended up finding support at the 216 level. If Amazon can remain above 216, it'll head back up towards 221. If it gets above that level, it may head all the way up towards 225. That would be the bullish scenario. But if Amazon ends up breaking below the 216 level, looks like it won't have any support until 208. So if bearish price action continues here on Amazon, look for it to fall down towards 208. Alrighty, let's move on to Google. Google ended up breaking out of this price channel. And I was looking for a bounce here based on this divergence, but we did not get one. We actually got a bearish divergence with the RSI pushing to new highs here, while price was making lower highs. So that did contribute to some bearish price action here, and now it looks like Google may try to fill its gap here on the daily time frame that it's beginning to fill. This gap ultimately fills here at 177. So if bearish price action continues, look for Google to head down towards that level. But if Google is able to find support somewhere in this area between maybe find support at this gap here at 178, Google could head back up towards the 183 level and then possibly the 185 support level. If it's able to get above these resistance levels, then I could see Google heading all the way up to 188 next week. Let's move on to Microsoft. This one I was leaning bullish on, and we did get a push up towards the 418 level like I thought, based on the bullish divergences that I had noticed on the daily time frame. So if you notice here, we have some lower lows that formed on Microsoft, but the RSI was making higher lows, and the momentum waves had made a higher low. So we did get some bullish price action, but Microsoft was only able to push up towards the 418 level, which actually was outside of its weekly expected move. I believe Microsoft had a 416 upper weekly expected move that looks like the bulls could not push through. With Friday's price action, we fell back down below our 410 support level, and it looks like we may be headed down towards 405. If Microsoft's able to find support at this level, it may mean that we head back up towards 410, and if it gets above that level, we could head back up towards 415. If for some reason bearish price action continues here on Microsoft, then we may fall below this 405 support level, then we head down towards 400. So look for that. Alright, let's move on to NVDA. Now NVDA does have earnings this week, I believe on Wednesday, and it is showing us a bullish divergence. If we notice here on the RSI, we have a low and a lower low, while price has made a low and a higher low. So this may mean that if NVIDIA can hold above the 135 support level, then NVIDIA will head up towards the 141 resistance level and possibly break above that. Then also, it would be breaking this descending trend line. It may mean that we head up towards 149. That would be extremely bullish for NVIDIA to do. If it gets above 141, it will be reaching for this high or this false breakout here at 143. Not overly bullish on NVIDIA beating on their earnings, so I'd be weary on this one to hold anything past, because it may break the market if NVIDIA can't beat on their earnings. Now, if NVIDIA does anything like what I said, finds support, comes up here, then earnings drops it down. We have support at the 128 level here, and then NVIDIA could fall all the way down towards 115 if their earnings are really bad. We do have an ascending trend line here that may act as support if NVIDIA falls down towards it, so look for that. Alrighty guys, let's move on to Netflix. Netflix was outside of its monthly expected move at 1,033. We have fallen down towards the 106 support level. Looks like we did break below that level at the end of the day, but look for Netflix to try to hold this level come the early part of next week. If Netflix is able to get above 1,006, it'll head back up towards the 1,033 level. But if for some reason Netflix finds resistance at any of those levels, it'll head back down towards the 989 support level, could even fall down towards this ascending trend line. This is a trend line that Netflix has formed over the past 8 months or so. So this is a strong resistance level, and I would say we're looking for Netflix to get back below this ascending trend line, then maybe head down towards the 939 support level. Alrighty, let's move on to Tesla. Tesla is in a descending price channel, and it looks like we could be headed down towards the 326 level this week. Tesla was not able to hold above 360 this week, and so we've headed down through the 347 support level, and we've even broken the middle part of its price channel, which is a bearish signal. The price will then head down towards 326. Now if Tesla can find support between this area, it can head back up towards the 347 level, and if it gets above that, maybe back up towards 360. A bearish scenario would be we fall below the 326 level, then price will head down towards 302. Okay, let's move on to Lululemon. Lululemon is one I traded this week, a couple times actually, last week, and one signal that it showed me had some bearish divergence, some hidden bearish divergence here on the RSI, with the RSI making some higher highs while price was making lower highs. So that signaled to me that once we found resistance at the 360 level, that we were going to head back down towards 355. That is what happened. Do remember dropping down into the 15-minute time frame and noticing that price had made it back to the 200 period moving average, and so that was a good time to short, because it meant price could fall and extend further from the 200 period moving average in quite a drastic fashion. And that is what happened. We fell down towards 355, ended up finding support there. I do remember selling in this area here when we broke below this trend line, because I had reached a certain level on my account that I had been trying to reach for the week, and so I was happy selling at this point. But I could have held down towards the 355 level. Being that was the next support level, I had assumed Lulu was going to fall down towards that level. Now, come the early part of this week, we're leaning more bearish here on Lululemon. We do have a gap on the daily time frame that does need to be filled, that fully fills at the 351 level. Then we also have an ascending trend line that may act as support, is a good area to act as support if Lululemon falls down and fills this gap. I believe you see it better on the 4-hour time frame with the touch points here. But if Lululemon breaks below this trend line, I would be pretty bearish on it. It would mean it fall down towards 343 and then even lower, possibly the 333 level. But if some bullish price action comes in here and we fill this gap, Lululemon can head back up towards 367. And if it gets above that, probably find resistance at this trend line here, but that would be somewhere in the 376 area. So look for that. Let's go on to Visa. So Visa actually, on the 1-hour time frame, I've noticed that it has fallen out of a rising wedge. So on Thursday, we broke out of this rising wedge and we fell down towards the 200 period moving average on the 1-hour time frame. Looks like we found support briefly on Thursday, and we headed back up through the 351 resistance level, but price could not hold above. It looks like we ended up finding resistance at this previous low here at 352, then Visa fell back down. If we head out onto the 4-hour time frame, we are now looking for Visa to fall down towards the 346 level next, and then a full measured move of this rising wedge puts Visa falling down towards the 336 level. Now it does have an ascending trend line that if we go out on the daily time frame, it may be an area of strong support or resistance. I do have Visa in a rising price channel, so it may mean that we just head down towards the upper level of this price channel, then we find support, and then Visa heads back up towards the all-time highs. But if we fall back into this price channel, I'd expect Visa to fall down towards the 336 level. Now usually when price breaks out of a channel, you can take the opening of the channel and then that would be the expected move. So if we do that here, just go from the upper trend line to the lower trend line, move it over towards the break. This does still signal that Visa should rise higher, and it looks like a full measured move of the price channel would put Visa up here around the 357 level. So if the rising wedge doesn't play out fully to the downside, and then we just find resistance, support, then we just find support at this upper level of this price channel, then Visa could head up towards the measured move of this price channel at the 357 resistance level. Alright, let's move on to HD. Now, HD has a giant head and shoulders pattern. If we notice here on the daily time frame, we got the shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. So it looks like we're about to possibly break the neckline right around here at the 382 level. So if Home Depot falls below this resistance level, a full measured move of its head and shoulders would drop HD all the way down towards the 329 level over the coming days to weeks. Being this one is so noticeable, it may be a fake out to traders, and if we fall into earnings, Home Depot may beat on their earnings, and then I'd look for it to head up towards this descending trend line. If we go on the 4 hour that I've placed right here, earnings will be on Tuesday. So I believe if HD breaks the neckline going into Tuesday's earnings, look for it to head back up towards the 390 level, then maybe even the descending trend line here around 410. That's if HD is able to beat on its earnings. If it comes in with terrible earnings, it may just fall through supports here, 380, 375, and head down towards 357. Alright, let's go on to our last one. This is one for the big dogs. Booking Holdings, BKNG. Now, I guess it had some lackluster earnings last week, and although we did get a bounce, we ended up with Friday's price action breaking below our 5,133 support resistance level. But I am looking for Booking to now possibly find support at the 4,939 level. If it finds support here and we get a bounce next week, could head back up towards the 5,133 level. Now if I was able to get above that, then I'd expect it to head up towards the previous all-time highs here at the 5,337 level. But if bearish price action continues next week and Booking falls below the 4,939 level, look for it to fall down towards this ascending trend line. If it breaks that, it may head down towards 4,704. If we go out onto the daily time frame, I'm looking for it to find support. It may be at the 4,700 level, which would be, I think, it's sort of in a long-term rising wedge. We'll see if it finds support in this area, but if it ends up breaking, it may fall even lower down towards the 200-day moving average, which would be around the 4,300 level. Alrighty guys, we covered a lot. I appreciate you watching. High quality trades, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.